Okay. How you doing, everybody? I figure I just share my experience. Um, I'll be cooking some of these from Brand Home Chef. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. Would be nice because I can get some free meals, but no, I'm not. I just figured I get the time, and I'm not gonna use the rice cooker today. But I just take this time to, you know, show off my hobby. I do like cooking, and I wish I'm at my mother's house. I'm with my mother, so I wish I could have a cutting board, but I don't have a cutting board. But let me see if this on. Okay, I guess it is on. But yeah, I don't know. Uh, so okay, but yeah, uh, I feel like this is a conversation for another time. That like the it might be the commodification of culture, but also like the fact that we can't keep things private, that we have to share everything as if everybody's like have something worth sharing. And I guess for me, it was just a matter of convenience at the moment because I'm like, maybe people want to see somebody cook. I know there's times when I like seeing. I think that's one of the inspirations I've had that I find I like seeing people cook. Um, because it was like a hobby of mine when I was younger. Um, half line, juice one half. I cut the other half of the wedges. Let me see if I can find a shot glass. Yeah, like, but I guess I don't know. That's really like up for interpretation because you can say, oh well, if you weren't trying to follow this society of narcissism and the commodification of culture, then why are you making a video? And it's like, I mean, I guess again, you can interpret that how you want, I just find it very convenient to videotape myself, you know. This stuff wasn't fancy or perfect. I just like cooking, you know. Half it, juice the other one. Wish I had a little juice in my hands. But yeah, I think it's just whenever I get caught, what do you call it? Super conscious that I'm being videotaped is what it kind of pulls me out of my moment, and then I get like self-conscious and stuff because I'm pretty introverted. I try my best to just get along with the environment and the people there. But sorry if I seem kind of tired. I just woke up. But yeah, I don't know. I just took advantage of the culture, so I guess that makes sense. I guess, just be aware. Be aware of the culture you live in. I mean, even if you take advantage of it, because this is YouTube, so well, at least the video at this moment is gonna be YouTube, but it could apply to any other social media. Yeah. Okay. Stem seeds, remove ribs and slice. Okay. Man, I used to live with my sisters. Yes, it's had state, but like I used to live with my sister, and our house was like a lot bigger. Okay, cool. I would say I think I was fell. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I already grabbed this anyway. Save some space. Okay. Stem seed, removes ribs. Slice green pepper into 1/4 strips. Okay. Yeah. This is where I would love a cutting board. But yeah. Would I have any idea? See, that's something I'm kind of considering to myself as a healthy. I don't know. I feel like back in the day, I used to try to make up these scenarios in which I wanted fame, I wanted like these questions asked, you know, so I would always respond to myself as if I was in an interview, and I do it so much that it would be a habit. It would be almost a bad habit where I would just be whenever I'm venting, I vent, and it's not really like, to me it wasn't like praying where I was intentionally keeping my mind like consciously focused that hey, I'm talking to God, but more so I was talking to a person who I knew wasn't there, but that I think it was just something I was just so used to, where I like almost misappropriated this space I was in, because it was almost like I spoke to somebody whom I believe was listening, and it was funny because I'm doing it now, but it's far more appropriate because this is video. But I used to have stage fright involved in it, because it would just be like, sorry, it's kind of making me uncomfortable. All this stuff moving around, the blinking red light, you know, the comments, the bleep on, the views that pop up, it would just be very like overwhelming, and it's like it would distract me from talking. So in this format, my stuff is on the side. It's not really visible. I'm keeping focus, on a task at hand, you know. And it's just kind of a matter of like, I know the video's here, but at the same time, I'm doing what I did before. I'm talking as if I'm talking to somebody, you know. Only I'm doing it with myself busy. Hands are busy. You know, and I believe I'm serving a dual purpose here. You know, because another thing, I was in Northern at one point, Northern Illinois University, for those who know and who live in Illinois. And I mentioned, like, I guess I took a communications class. And it helped you learn how to speak. Now, for that, I don't think I was so decent. I spoke as if I took that advice, and I don't know where I got it from, but I took advice that from somewhere that you talk. If you don't talk to an audience as if you're talking to a friend. Now, I had this good friend of mine back in was it middle school? I think it was high school. And he would always be a good blueprint to talk to. You know, he was always a good friend to talk to. And I would just talk to him, and I wouldn't be afraid. I wouldn't feel nervous about what I wanted to say. I always felt heard by him. And it was always a good blueprint of how I talk now. Just like I talk to people as if I'm talking to him. Because he was always a good dude to talk to. He's like one of my best friends in high school, you know. I don't want to mention it by name because, you know, his privacy and stuff, but yeah, I do appreciate you. You know, and it's weird because I remember, I guess I have this weird thing, at least today. I don't know if it's true or not. And sorry, I might cut this short if my mom comes in, because, you know, it's hard, but it's kind of distracting, you know. I don't feel like I can be around my mom sometimes. Well, not be around her, but be like myself fully, you know, just like, you know, in terms of personality. So I'm like, and that's his own thing that has to be addressed in his own personal time and whatnot. Okay, one juice, stem seeds, pull off husk of corn, remove kernels from the cob, holding vertically, carefully slicing downward. Okay. So use a small cup. That'll do. So, But yeah, and I mentioned, I mean, you know, because I'm starting to be a lot more honest with myself these days, you know, and I thank God, you know, because I've been really running away from my faith, my Christian faith. Just, I really have been. I mean, like pulling a, what you call it, a Jonah. Just, you know, believing in my own self, assuming too many things. Um, and then, I don't know, I think it was just strange because I'm like, I needed some help, and I really didn't feel like I had a lot of help. Uh, and I don't mean like in terms of physical stuff. I meant like in terms of like life stuff that was relevant to me. And it was just like people always told me what they thought I needed to hear versus what I believed myself I needed to hear. So let me check again. Okay, because I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a little paranoid about this. See, I'm like, oh, like, what does that do? Alright, let's try it halfway. That'll do. Something like that. What happen if I cut at the top, it'll pop off? Because it's popcorn, you know, popcorn pops off. So why not the corn pop off? Okay. Man, this, I wonder if this how people cut the corn. That's not a joke. Cut the corn, cut the cheese. Man, I don't know. I'm just kind of fascinated. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I've been just trying to cut things that are too high in my priorities. You know, Christianity calls, you know, not that you preachy, but Christianity calls for people to cut the priorities, the things that are just too high in their life. You know, because they're, you know, they're not meant for that spot. They're not meant to be, and you know, God calls them idols. You know, these are things that are persons, places, things, people that are just way too high in your value scale, your scale of values. You know. Wow, I am so thoroughly impressed by his method. I wonder if this is how chefs like cut their stuff off. You know, cut their corn off. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've been having such a hard time with is the idea of like kind of letting go to gain. You know, there's this concept in Christianity that's like, you know, in order to gain the world, you must. And I'm kind of butchering this phrase, but it's like, you know, what would it cost if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? You know, and it's like, you know, you need to let go of all the attachments. And again, it sounds really Buddhist, you know, because talked to a friend. And she was telling me about Buddhism, and I'm like, that sounds a lot like Christianity. Wow, you know. And I'm not gonna say, oh, all religions are the same. Like that's just, I don't know. I think that's kind of lazy to say. You know, oh, they're all the same. Excuse me. But yeah, it was like cut off all the things that bind you, all the things that are unnecessary. You know, and that's just it. Like it sounds the same to you read it in context because it's like. It's not just cutting there all the things that bind. Peel and half shallot. I already peeled the shallot. Half shallot. Slice into thin strips. Okay. Yeah, okay. I always found shallots to be kind of weird because I'm like, are they garlic? Are they onions? They look like garlic. But they look like onions. Thin strips. Dang. Oh man. Okay. Let's start to take up all the space. But yeah, so that's what I've been trying to do because I had a lot of goals and ambitions, and they weren't really healthy ones. Like You know, I wanted to be famous. You know, and like, okay, gotta be conscious. Like, my thoughts won't stay together. Um, but yeah, sorry, I just kind of depersonalized a little. At least I think I did. I hopped out of my, just stepped back a bit. But I forget what I was talking about. I'm sorry. Well, I'm gonna move on since I forgot. I'm sorry. I guess if I can add another thing, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, but I never really had. I guess the ambitions, the things that are too you know, famous stuff. I've been learning lately. I don't know. I think I personally believe, you know, God's been helping me understand things. You know, putting people in my life, putting people that I'm learning from. You know, smart people, people who know stuff, who know what they're talking about. You know, people who aren't just trying to impose their thoughts over you, but are actually trying to help you with actual knowledge. Pet shrimp dry and season all over with Cajun seasoning. Look at that. Man, did I tell you I wanted to be a chef? I think I might have mentioned that already. So it always feels good to cook, because it always feels like I'm going back to that dream of mine. So yeah, back to that thing I was thinking about losing things to gain things. Now logically that never made sense to me, and I'm honestly taking a lot of this in faith, but like, my thing was always kind of like, sorry, that's a nervous habit. Just snorting. It's like, because I was at work and a lady was like complaining about a customer doing that, and I did it all the time, so I knew exactly what that dude was doing. It was like a nervous tick. You know, he used to snort, and like, it's like I think they call it stimming or a nervous tick, because it's like a calming agent. Like, it happens subconsciously. In my personal theory, even though I'm not a professional, is that these things they bring relief, and so you kind of use them in this sense to bring relief to a stressful situation. I think dogs do it kind of like they may yawn and stuff like that. And I think it may be similar. That's just a guess on that end. Yeah. Never understood these things. You see them? Maybe it's because they're not cooked. And why do they cook them already? Do they take longer to cook? Are they hard to cook? Like this? Never understood the difference. I know one of them was like pre-cooked. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I seen this other guy. I can't remember his name. He was a cook, like I guess an Asian cook, responding to Nigel Ung's video, and he was like, you know, he made like a shrimp fried rice, and he had these, and he was saying like, you gotta be careful not to cook them so long, otherwise they'll come out rubbery. And that idea doesn't make sense to me, because I've never cooked before. I mean, I've never cooked shrimp uncooked before, so this should be new. But yeah, the concept of like losing something to gain something, like, again, logically, and so I'm taking it in faith. I'm trying to be smarter, trying to not be so prideful, not to assume too many things, but just take them as they come, and not have all these preconceived thoughts or judgments about them, but just take them, you know. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. It's been very helpful to me so far, and the reason why I even came to believe it, it was like I've read my Bible a lot, but it finally made sense to me when I read this from when the same guy, his name is Jordan Peterson. He spoke about it. Now this guy, I don't know if he's really like a Christian or a theist or anything, but he says he believes God as if he exists, and so I think that's like the I don't know. Take that for what you will. But I found him to be trustworthy and credible because his information has helped. Now, this new section is going to be more about, okay, I found him helpful, like this sort of agnostic figure, almost potentially, versus pastors, because I was really tired of the language used with pastors, because they tend to have this very unrealistic perspective, and like when you criticize that, they don't really apologize or are honest with you. They just kind of go on a roundabout way of dissing you, saying like you didn't. It's kind of your fault that you didn't understand what I was talking about. It's like that's a poor, at least to me, that's a poor teacher. You know, I don't know, man. I just know if I've ran into my helping of spiritual teachers, and they've even Christian YouTuber teachers and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I be like, do y'all even know what I'm talking about? I'm like, and that's one thing I'm kind of hate personally, is the God of the gaps idea. Well, not the God of the gaps idea, but like the God of the gaps being used by Christians, where they don't know what they're talking about, and they just say, well, God does it. Well, God will do it, or God this, God that, and it's like, no, man. Do you know what you're talking about? Like, is this stuff real? Is this stuff true? And I say that in respect to their teaching, because sometimes people just say stuff, and I don't know if it's true or not. I have to watch in context, but sometimes it's irritating because it seems like they're doing what I've been doing, just assuming things, you know, and doing things based off like raw emotion, and like just these presumptions and these impulsivity. I mean, again, that's a guess, but sorry. Make a creamy corn slaw. Heat 1 teaspoon of olive oil in a non-stick pan over medium-high heat. Add corn to the pan and cook undisturbedly to slightly char for 2-3 minutes. Transfer corn to a mixing bowl. Add slaw. Okay, so just cook the corn. Okay. Alright, put that right here for a sec. Did they give us olive oil? No, they did not give us olive oil. Okay. So my little kitchen, I have to work with what I have, the space that I have. Okay, cook that. I don't have olive oil. Let me see how far I got. 23 minutes. Okay. Again, I don't know why these thoughts keep coming to me, but tablespoon. I just think on how long I pour it into a spoon. But yeah, sorry, the thought of like corn and stuff, and no, just cooking in general, it made me think about Herschel Patel and Nigel Ong's video. I think I keep mentioning them because those were the most recent videos that I watched. You know, and like how Herschel Patel. And now again, I don't know I didn't know who Herschel Patel was before this. I don't know if she was like working for BBC or was a comedian on her own, or because I know she definitely wasn't a YouTuber, because she doesn't come off as just a YouTuber. And take that for what you will. It just seems like it seems to me, and I'll do a small explanation just currently. whenever I see, now I only seen like a few people actually do this right. Whenever I've seen people from actual television, um, and like BBC, ABC, Fox, or whatever you want to call them, you know, and I don't know, put those little copyright captions in there for them for themselves. But and no copyright intended. But it made me think about how when they present themselves into the internet atmosphere, how unprepared, untrained they seem. You know, because they don't seem like they seem very awkward. You know, it's like a different medium almost where they have to, and they seem kind of like, and I hate this equivalency, but it's like an old person kind of trying out stuff, and it's like they seem so out of touch. They're like, "Hey guys, I'm just like you." It's like, yeah, yikes. You know, and again, these people, they could be our age, it could be someone else's age, but it's like, it just you. I grew up in the internet age, and not so much dial up per se. I mean, sorta, but somebody had to tell me about YouTube. I didn't know anything about the skateboarding dog, or didn't know anything. Well, maybe I was introduced to what's his face, Niga Higa. Um, but yeah, it was just like, you know, and for anybody who do know the first, like just a fun fact, the skateboarding dog, I think it's one of the first, if not the first YouTube video. And I'm like, that thing probably has 1 million views by now. So I'm gonna see about explaining myself. But yeah, I feel like they're out of touch. I feel like those people are out of touch. And so it's like, and I apply this more so to celebrities, because sometimes they seem out of touch too. Transfer cooked corn to a mixing bowl. I don't have a lot of bowls, mixing bowls. I'll use this one. Again, but now I just thought about that. I'm like, no wonder, because that do sound like, it sound kind of, now that I see it now, like, it sound kind of like, now that I'm expressing this consciously before a video, and I'm like talking to it as if I'm talking to a person in a more appropriate fashion than practicing it by myself, and assuming people will listen. I can see how narcissistic this sounds when somebody like explains themselves. Yeah, man, this is how I did it. I did it like this. And it's like, do you have to explain yourself? You know, greatness, as far as I can understand, is seen, not explained. You know, do roses have to talk about how great they are? You know, okay. I'll give it a few moments. You know, so it's slow. Okay. Gosh, I wish I had a larger mixing bowl. Okay, I guess this will just be fine. Use it. Like, 'cause I'm like, I didn't really want to just really debating in my mind. Like, do I want to do this first? It's gonna be cold. Put it on top. It's gonna be hot. Every time I see like corn like this, it made me think about the movie Squanto, where he made popcorn. And I was like, huh, I wonder if this is going to turn into popcorn. Another thing that made me think about this concept is that YouTube kind of, and I know this is kind of an oxymoron, but I wonder if YouTube breeds a loneliness culture. Because I'm like, instead of finding a friend, inviting them over and talking to them like this, and honestly, I do want to make videos that are entertaining, that makes people want to stay and garner views, and go through all that. I do. I'm not going to front about that. I want to make entertaining content. I want to make content that's not always perfect and not always crisp. Especially given my expertise and stuff right there, not always the best. But yeah, I would love to be like a YouTuber who can express his point and people like what he got to say, But again, I shouldn't be narcissistic. Just be like, okay. If people like it, then they like it. That'd be good. And I will be myself throughout it. Hopefully I don't want the clout to get to me. Even though that's kind of hard to do in today's culture. Okay. Sour cream. That's cool. Corn, some slaw, which is like basically some iceberg lettuce and red lettuce with some sliced up carrots and some sour cream. That's not bad. That is not bad at all. And a pinch of salt. Yeah. I should remember this.